If you've never used a wire guardian before, or if you'd like a little bit more inspiration, then this techniques video is for you. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Carol, and on this channel I show you how easy it is to make your own jewellery. Today I'm going to be stringing some pearls. Now if you know me, you'll know that I love big chunky jewellery, not fine delicate pearls. But I found these beautiful black dyed cultured pearls. They're quite small and I just fell in love with them, so I'm going to be stringing them. Well, I've actually already strung them, but what I'm going to be showing you is how to add a wire guardian to make your jewellery have a professional finish. So let's talk about what a wire guardian is, and I'll also walk you step by step through the process of how to attach one. I've already strung my pearls. These ones are a 4mm and they are a freshwater cultured pearl, and they are dyed black. I don't know if you can see the colour, but it's stunning. It's kind of a really dark black with a bluish tinge. And all I've done here is accent them with a 3mm brass smooth bead, which has a platinum plate. So really basic, and I've used some extreme soft flex to string them. Now, as I said, it's not very exciting watching me string pearls, so I have already done them. Now, if you haven't ever strung a necklace before, I will leave a link in the description box below for a video on how to do that. You'll note too that I have also attached a jump ring onto one end of my beads here. Now, I'm actually just going to put on a little bead stopper on this end, so that my beads don't run off, so I can show you this end more closely. When I strung my necklace, I alternated the pearls and the 3mm balls. And then when I got to the end, when I've crimped my necklace, I added a 3mm crimp cover, which looks like one of the balls, and so that was the reason for not putting a ball on the end. As you can see here, I've got this lovely thing here called a wire guardian, and it gives the necklace a really nice professional finish, but it also protects the wire because the wire goes up and around and through this, and it protects it from the jump ring and the rubbing. So what I did with this end is I added my crimp, my wire guardian, a 6mm jump ring, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. With the other end, I want to add my clasp. And I've got some supplies in front of me. I have my wire guardian. Now let's take a close look at it. So what it is, it's a U-shaped component, and it has like a tiny wee, almost a tube on either side, and then what runs around the back in the U shape is a channel. And so your wire or your stringing material goes up through the tube around the U-shaped back in the channel, and it sits there and kind of hides it, and then down through the tube again. As well as that, I have a 12mm lobster clasp. I have a tiny wee 1.5mm crimp bead, and I have a 3mm crimp cover. Now I will leave links in the description box below for everything you need to make this necklace should you decide to do that, because it's lovely. As well as the materials, I have some tools. I've got my chain nose pliers, I've got some flush cutters, and I have a set of crimping pliers. Now you don't necessarily need the crimping pliers. You could get away with crimping it with your chain nose pliers because we're putting a crimp cover over the top. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to thread on my crimp bead, and then I'm going to put on my guardian and my clasp. To do that, I'm going to remove my bead stopper. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to pick up my crimp bead. Now, if you haven't used little beads before, what I like to do is leave it sitting on the ground here and go fishing with the end of the wire rather than trying to pick it up and trying to poke it through the wire like that, through the hole like this, because it's much easier to do it that way. So I'm just going to run that down, and I want to make sure that there's no gaps. And so there it is there, my little crimp bead on the end. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wire guardian and I'm going to thread up through the first tube. So you can see there it's coming out of the first tube. Then I'm going to go round the top and into the second tube on the other side. So that's what I have now. And you'll see that you can't see the wire at the top here because it's sitting in that little channel. All right, next I want to put on my clasp. And so I'm threading my wire through the loop in my clasp, and I'm feeding it all the way up into that wire guardian. You'll see there that the clasp is sitting inside the wire guardian there. Now I'm going to thread the end of my wire back down through my crimp bead. Just managed to get it twisted. So just down through the crimp bead. Now normally I would go through a couple of beads, and I've actually had a crimp bead fail on me while I was making it, and that is a good reason to have it go through a couple of beads. But unfortunately these beads are quite small and my wire just won't fit. So that's not an option today. So what I'm going to do is just pull everything down nice and tight. Now I'm holding my clasp and nothing's moving, so sometimes you have to move your crimp bead, and sometimes it's even more helpful to grab your pliers and give everything a pull so that it's nice and tight. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is crimp my crimp bead. So I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers and give it a squeeze, and then I'm going to turn it around and give it a squeeze going the other way. So that's what I have now. And I'm also going to, just with my fingers, I'm going to push the tubes of the ends of the tubes of the wire guardian together a little bit. So you can see it's nice and neat and tidy. Now I'm going to trim off the end of my wire as close as I possibly can. So that's what I have now. And it looks very professional, it looks really great. And it protects that wire from wear and tear. Now I'm actually just going to give that a little bit more of a squeeze with my pliers, just so that it's sitting a little closer. You don't have to do this, it just makes it look a little nicer. All right, now I'm going to attempt to put on a crimp cover. I always struggle with crimp covers. I feel like I'm all fingers and thumbs, but the best way to do it is to kind of drop it over the top of the crimp. Right, it's on there, and what I'm going to do is grab my pliers and give it a squeeze closed. And what you want to do is just move your pliers around so that you make it into a round bead. So it's just a matter of kind of moving and squeezing and moving and squeezing until you get it to the right shape. There you go. And you can see it just looks like a 3mm bead, so it works perfectly here. I'll just do that up and you will see what it looks like. So realistically you would never know that those weren't just the beads continuing on from here, and the wire guardian just makes it look all very nice and professional. I really hope you enjoyed learning this little technique of how to use a wire guardian today. If you did, it would be really great if you would give me the little thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. If you're interested in making any of the jewellery that I'm wearing today, I have done tutorials for all of it. So necklace, earrings and bracelet. So I will leave links in the description box below for all of that, as well as everything that you need if you would like to make this necklace. Also check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We often run competitions and post pictures there as well. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a wonderful day and I will see you again next week.